What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of my Mariners CaP franchise series here on MLB The Show. We're at the end of season 2 with the Seattle Mariners. But this episode is where we are checking on all the creative players. We have about 31 of them that the Twitch and YouTube community have added to this franchise series. So it's kind of a side story that we're doing here. And it is the off season, so it's time to check and see how everyone improved, where they're at, and how they've been doing. Guys, if you want to add your own creative player to this franchise, we're going to keep doing this as long as people enjoy it. And I believe once every 10 years or so, I'll probably have people make a second one just to have this cycle continue on through. But if you want to add one, there's a description. Down in the description, there's a Google form. That's all you got to do is fill it out. Get your player added, and I will add them the very next chance that I can in the next spring training that I get into. So this episode is only about the creative players and nothing else. So we sort by age because it'll make it a little bit easier for us. We'll start with the National League. We do have two in the Braves. One is Big Papi. We'll start out with Big Papi. He increases again. He is up to a 77. He did play 4 games in the major leagues this year. He was 6 of 12, not bad, and did get his first major league home run for the Atlanta Braves. Up to a 77, though. That defense slowly creeping up, but the offense is doing well enough. He should be a staple if it wasn't for Matt Olson. But he's only 19. You got plenty of time. The other one is Antion Roussel. He did not play in the majors this year. He stayed in AAA. He did improve, though. He lost some steal, lost some power left, but gained everywhere else. He's up to a 74. I'm sure that outfield in Atlanta is tough to crack. But again, he's only 19. He's already up to a 74. High A potential for Roussel. So it might take him a few years to get there, but he will get there and he will flourish when he can. Move on to the Marlins, who we have one. And that is going to be Jimmy Sweatervest here. He did play in the majors, 155 games at third base, hit 14 home runs, 63 RBIs, struck out only 109 times. But a 20% clip. It's not terrible, but it could be much, much better. Stole 10 out of 19 times, which is not great. And did end with a 1 WAR. But his improvements did not really improve offensively if you don't count the power versus left. You get 233, you don't improve too mightily, too crazily. But Jimmy Sweatervest continues to work his way up. It's big that he started 155 games there, so unless they make a move, he is the starting third baseman, or first baseman, I guess, wherever the Marlins are putting him. To the Mets we go, and we have 2 players on the Mets. We saw it last episode with the number 2 and number 3 award finalists for Rookie of the Year. That is Rendon, if he cared. 20 bombs, 69 driven in, 264, an OPS of just under 800, 782. The attributes, dropped some power versus left, but everything else improved pretty well for Rendon, if he cared. Albert Pujols Jr. is the other one. Both of these guys were 0 for 9 in the postseason combined, so that's not great. 155 games for Pujols, 262 OPS, 751, 22 bombs, 85 RBIs. He did have 600 at bats, but you see the 150 strikeouts. That should improve with the discipline and vision that continues to go up. He is a 78 overall and only 19. So Pujols gets some good improvement. Defense across the board, and seems to be a staple in the Mets starting lineup. To the Phillies, we do have 2 in the Phillies as well. One is brand new this year, and that is Big Daddy T. Did get called up here, I would assume late for the September run. Was 0 for 6, did walk twice. So nothing crazy. Didn't improve that much, to be honest, comparatively. He is up to a 72. This is only his first year. But didn't improve contact versus left. Didn't really improve fielding too crazy. So not a great first year, but hey, he barely got any service time. He's still considered a rookie. He still has plenty of time to improve. The other one, Kyle Hart, did not play in the majors at all. He was in AAA all year long, but look at these improvements. He is up to a 79. The contact is through the roof, already 70 plus in both. The vision and discipline is high. The clutch went up. The durability went up. The fielding went up. Kyle Hart is a 79. I would be shocked if he is not starting next year for the Phillies, but who the fuck knows? To the Nats, we do have two. We've already met one and saw one last year. That's the reigning MVP or Rookie of the Year in the National League. That is Hugh Cox. Contact versus left, power versus right. Completely jumped. Contact versus right didn't get touched. Defense was great. Everything else was fine. MLB stats, 28 and 88, struck out 140 times, stole 12 bases, though. Only caught stealing 3 times. And an OPS of just barely over 7. And his teammate, the Smoke and Cox show, Joey Smoke, did not improve this year. Dropped 4 and dropped 2. He did play in the majors, 268, 13 bombs, 34 driven in, and 317 at bats. Those numbers are not terrible. I'm surprised that he did not improve more, but it looks like that contact versus left is what the problem is. That didn't allow him. But the fielding didn't really improve. He did drop a speed. Didn't improve vision at all. So not really a great year number 2 from Joey Smoke. Looking to improve upon that next year. Cubbies, we have 3. Remember, the Cubs just got a generational talent in this year's draft. The Cubs are going to be a problem going forward. We'll start with Tony Cummins, who was traded midseason from Boston to the Chicago Cubs. Played 129 games between both teams, 18 home runs, 56 driven in, only struck out 96 times at a 473 at bats. OPS just over 7, hit 241. Good improvement, though. You would have loved to see some power versus left improvement, but you didn't. Everything else was pretty solid, though. Consider he's a 79 already. Tony Cummins is going to be a problem, along with the other 2 caps. Brian Simmons is the first one. Same thing. Power versus left is not touched, but everything else was pretty swimmingly. Hit 300 and 337 at bats. OPS almost 900. Just under 900. I think it's 895. Yep. 895 for Brian Simmons. I mean, that's a good fucking rookie year, if you ask me. Good Lord. And he's also up to a 79. Cubs with 2 huge prospects on top of generational talent. That's a catcher that they just drafted this past year. The Cubs are going to be a problem here in a couple of years. Thank God they're in the NL. Slobberknocker, a closer, one of our very few closer caps we have. He played last year. He also pitched in the bullpen this year. 65 innings. His ERA practically stayed the same. His strikeouts went up a little bit, but so did his innings. Did get 13 holds. He only blew 3 saves. He did get his first major league save, but more importantly, he was 7-3 out of the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs on the north side. Stamina, who cares? He's a bullpen guy. He's got to keep getting those per 9s up, but Slobberknocker should continue to do well as well. Cincinnati does have one. I'm sorry. I apologize. Jimmy Edmonds. 141 games, practically was a start of the whole season. 20 bombs, 48 driven in, struck out 108 times, 236. The OPS just under 600. Or 700, I'm sorry. So it definitely could have been better, but that's not bad. Same thing, the Caps are struggling, power versus left. Granted, he is a lefty, so maybe that plays a part. Power versus right went up. The defense went up. Steal went down. Who cares? Everything else was decent. Jimmy Edmonds is 75 through his second year. The Brewers do have 3. They're another team that has 3. Donnie Savior, the second brand new cap that we added this year, did not make it to the majors in his first year and really didn't improve at all. Pretty shocking, to be honest. Dropped power versus left. Really didn't improve anywhere offensively. Improved a little bit defensively, but kind of a bad year. For first year, Donnie Savior. This is the one that's surprising to me. The AI is absolutely killing me here. Robert Jones, he is 79, and they are keeping him in single A. This is a problem. I may have to step in next year if and find a way to control this roster or something and promote him myself. If for the third year in a row he stays in single A, I sure hope that's not the case, but it's a joke that he is in single A as a 79 overall and the number one prospect in baseball. Great improvements this year. Stamina is kind of low, but that will improve. But it's kind of ridiculous that he continues to be in single A and the AI is not moving him up. Now, the other one's Chuck Norris, left fielder. Almost 500 at bats in his rookie season, 241, 12 bombs, 57 driven in, 12 for 18 in stolen bases. Didn't improve his power at all, but did improve practically everything else that matters. And he's up to a 75 in his second year. Pirates don't have one. St. Louis does not have one. Arizona does not have one. Colorado does not have one. The Dodgers, thank God, don't have one. The Padres do. They have two. One is going to be Seth Ross, Nats fan. Did not play in the major leagues this year, so he's still considered a top prospect. Dropped a shit ton of power, though. But you see everything else, not including the steal, improved pretty well. He is up to a 76 overall in the first year. Juan Gonzalez did play this year. He was called up late. Did get his first major league hit and a major league RBI, going 2 for 9. And he walked 3 times out of 12 plate appearances. So that's pretty good as well. Didn't improve as well in all attributes that he probably would have liked. But he did get up there enough to be a 75 in year 2. The contact versus left was good. That vision, that clutch, and continues to improve on the defensive side, which is always a plus. Giants don't have anybody. We go to the American League now. There's 2 for the Baltimore Orioles. One will be Mr. Squiggles, who made his debut last year and was a complete starter this year. 253 OPS 751. Hit 23 home runs, walked 58 times, drove in 62. He is up to a 77. That +8 and +6, contact left, power right is massive. And defense slowly continues to creep up for Mr. Squiggles. The other one, Frank Reynolds. Frank Reynolds here did not do well. 235. After a poor start to his major league career last season, did hit 9 home runs. And with those 9 home runs and 115 at-bats, it did make his OPS be a little over 800, which is good. But Frank just needs to be... he needs to play more, but being behind Adley, that's going to be tough. He's only up to an 83. Hopefully he can find his way into the lineup, maybe be thrust into that DH position to get himself some more at-bats. Boston, because of the Tony Cummins trade, they do not have a cap anymore. The Yankees do have 2. William Bianchi did play. 11 home runs, 33 RBIs, 235. Struck out 114 times out of 460 at-bats, though. Improved to a 75. He did drop some power on both sides, contact right. But improved at least a little bit everywhere else, to at least make him a 75 in year 2. Daddy McHomersworth is the other one. Did play in the playoffs. I guess Bianchi played in the playoffs and was 5 of 12. Not bad. Daddy looked to be 2 of 13 in the playoffs. Stats for the year, though, 14 home runs, 48 RBIs in 92 games. Caught stealing 5 times. Did lose some power versus left, didn't gain any power versus right, but everything else looks pretty similar to what everyone else is getting. Most everyone else. As a Daddy McHomersworth is also up to a 75 for the Bronx Bombers. Tampa Bay has 1. He is a catcher. He did play 99 games this year to hit just a smidge under 300, 13 home runs, 45 RBIs. Only struck out 73 times. OPS over 800, which is a good rookie season for the backstop for the Tampa Rays. 76 overall. Pretty solid improvement across the board, minus the power versus left for Kevin Shepard II. To Toronto, who also has 1, it is Haruo Terunofuji, the first baseman. Only played 1 game this year after having a pretty decent rookie season. But the 1 game he did play, 3 for 4, 2 home runs, or 2 runs, and hit a solo bomb in the lone game the Blue Jays allowed him to play. Across the board, pretty solid improvement to 96 for or 76 for Terunofuji, who's a very high, top end high A potential for Toronto, desperately needed. Chicago White Sox has 1. He is a center fielder. Is Thiago Suter. Played 99 games this year, hit 285, stole 8 bases, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs. Attributes. This power versus left, man, is a problem for a lot of people, but everything else, pretty okay. Power versus right didn't improve a lot, but everything else pretty average to what we've been seeing. The Guardians don't have any. Detroit, also goose egg. Kansas City has 1, and it is Jack Me Off. Played in 5 games in the Major League roster. Only pitched 8 innings, allowed 11 earned runs, 2 bombs, ERA almost 12.5, and not a good first 2 starts for Jack Me Off. However, he is a 78, continuing to improve, and he is very, very young, so he should be just fine. The Twinkies, we kind of already looked. The World Series champions, Peter Griffin is their guy. 275, he played 19 games this year in the Major League level. Did not improve a lot. Didn't see a lot of playing time. Hopefully that continues. He is a high A potential as well, I believe. Very high end potential A. So he still has a bunch of improvement to do. Hopefully he can hit his potential for the Minnesota Twins. Houston Astros has 2 as well. We look at Hack Attack here, the second baseman. 77 overall. Played 1 game and did not get his major league hit, but did get 1 walk. The attributes here, that power versus left, struggling for everyone again. But everything else, pretty damn solid. Improved across the board. That +7 discipline is very, very massive. So is the contact numbers as he sits behind Jose Altuve in the organization. Cody Brewer is the other one, center fielder. Struggled against left-handed pitching. Did play practically every game, missed 19 games, hit 240, 17 bombs, 62 driven in, struck out 115 times, 15 of 20 in stolen bases, 73 overall in this, simply because he dropped 5 power versus left and 2 contact versus left. But he is a 73 for the Astros. The Angels don't have anybody. The A's don't as well. Then it's my team, the Mariners. We do have 2. One is Jamison Cumbest, which is my personal cap. 261, 15 home runs, 47 RBI, did strike out 110 times. +8 contact, though. He did gain power versus left. I am an anomaly. I am an anomaly. Contact versus left, though, I do drop, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't have the highest potential. I'm kind of a mid-A. So I'll take 78 through year 2. That's pretty huge. The reigning American League Rookie of the Year. 271, 25 home runs, 92 driven in, struck out 114 times. For the Rookie of the Year, did drop in steal and aggressiveness, but everything else at least was positive as he continues to get better. 78 overall for Fister Furbush as our middle infield here, with Cumbest and Furbush, or I suppose the infield period, is looking pretty solid. Texas does not have one, and that will be it for the creative players. We go look at the top prospects. Again, people that have not graduated, Robert Jones continues to be number one because he's left in single A. I will have to intervene next year somehow if I can. If that continues to be a thing. Kyle Hart, number 2. Roussel, number 3. Donnie Savior, 4. Seth Ross, a Nats fan, 5. Hack Attack, 14. Gonzalez is 22. Jack Me Off, 27. That might be it for our creative players. Almost everybody has graduated from this list, except for the 5 I mentioned. So that is where we are at. As of this recording, we will have 2 new creative players to add for season 3. So I will get on those in the off season and spring training. If you can add your player fast enough before I record that episode, you can be in for season 3 as well. And if not, you will have to wait until season 4 to get your creative player in. Guys, I appreciate you checking out this CaP recap video as we continue to watch the improvement on these creative players and see them work their way through these systems and into these starting lineups. I appreciate you checking out the video. Again, fill out the Google form in the description if you want to add your creative player to this franchise. My name is West Coast. We'll see you in the next episode, the full off season for season 2.